Hello and welcome to another episode of the NK Active podcast. I am Nick, podiatrist and director here at NK Active, and we are joined by Dave, our rehabilitation therapist. So, what we're going to talk about today, it's going to be a continuation from the last episode where myself and Dave had a discussion about sort of how to keep yourself fit and well when you haven't got a problem, how to try and build that consistency, because we kind of felt that afterwards we sat and said, actually, we've got more to talk about. So we thought, actually, let's just now expand this over to episodes. And I think what we're going to cover today is more going about, right, we spoke about the benefits of trying to stay fit and healthy and consistency, and we spoke about SMART goals, but actually, maybe let's chat today about, okay, how are you going to plan it? And especially coming up over to the festive period, because we know that a lot of people will set goals of, I want to be fitter and healthier in the new year.
Yep.
And gyms, well, before the pandemic, gyms used to see a big rise in members in January time, but then by March, the gym's empty again. So people have set these goals, I want to be fit and active and want to be healthier, but then actually don't actually finish seeing it.
And it comes back to that people know what they want. They want to be able to do this, but what is it in life and what is it that just stops us, that gets in the way? So it's having a look at that and putting the practical things that we can make suggestions, but hopefully for everybody to look at what are their circumstances and how can they make it work for them, because we can't give everyone's answer to everyone's circumstances.
No. Well, this is why I think we both believe, and I think we said it last episode, on previous episodes as well, is that sort of these 12-week quick fix plans just don't work, because what you're trying to do there, in sort of my opinion, definitely, I think you agree, is that you're trying to pigeonhole everyone into the same sort of category.
1,000-calorie diet and do a 10-mile run every day, you're going to lose weight. But it's not realistic, it's not practical. You know, and if it's for the wedding, if it's for the holiday, if it's just a short term, have they got a place? But it doesn't change you long term, and it's not a good, healthy way to do things. And
it's not sustainable, is it? And sustainability is a bit of a buzzword, especially around the environment. But actually, from our perspective, when you talk about exercise and how can you sustain what you're doing, you talk about that 1,000-calorie diet. That's not sustainable, is it?
It's health and well-being, isn't it? And that's a different thing.
Yeah. So, if you say, Dave, let's try and think of an example. Is it right? My New Year's resolution is going to be, I want to be fitter and active. And we're now going to be taking, right, in December, sort of mapping out, let's try and plan to try and make this one stick, because other years it hasn't stuck.
Yeah.
What's the best way to do this?
Well, it's interesting. Even as we were setting up now, I've just been thinking, in my circumstances, my kids are grown up, they're off. There's me and Liz.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want, when I want. You're busy with the business, then at home, you've got a whole family, young family. Yes. So Christmas and the New Year, time is just different for both of us. And I'm sure everyone else has got their own circumstances. So when I think of what would work for me, it's a really difficult area. But the first thing I think you've got to think about is the goal. What is the aim? What are you? If someone says, I want to be fitter at what? Do you want to walk further? Do you want to start running? Do you want to be able to lift more? Do you want to have better balance? We all use terms.
Yes.
We all just throw these. My back went, my knee went. I want to be fitter. What do you really mean? What does fitter mean to you? So how strong are you? How long does it take you to walk 2 miles at the moment? Running, is that realistic? Lift, I want to be stronger. A lot of people say they want to lose weight, but actually, do they want to put on more lean muscle, lose some body fat, but stay the same weight? Or when is it a good idea to lose weight on its own self? So being specific and actually identifying what you really mean, and then working out where you are at the moment, because without the baseline and the start place, you're all over the place.
It is, and it's talking about the losing weight. It's something that I think Matt Moyes, I think that's how I pronounce his surname. So sorry, Matt, if I pronounce your surname wrong. He's got the YouTube channel about Matt Does Fitness. Right. And it's a really, really interesting journey, and I'd really recommend watching it, because it's one of those things, like, he just sort of films his life and his journey and is very open about what he earns through YouTube and everything like that. And it's just a real insight into the life of a YouTuber and a fitness person, but he recently released a book, and he's a PE teacher by background, an ex-athlete, and he sort of said, when people say they want to lose weight, no one wants to lose weight. People want to lose fat.
Yeah.
I know that sounds picky, but that is exactly right, isn't it? Because they are two different things. Because actually, if you're using weight as your metric, as your measure, you'll get to a certain point where you will lose fat and put on muscle, and your weight may either change or may actually increase.
And you hear people say, oh, I'm so disappointed on the scales, I haven't lost any weight, but the trousers are really loose now.
Yeah.
Well, it's going from one area, going to somewhere else. There's a change happening there. And it's just that misconception. Looking at that number can be really unhelpful.
But we won't go down the rabbit hole of why I really don't like the BMI. for that exact reason, isn't it? Yeah. So what you're telling me then is the first thing before you're building a plan is actually work out what your goal is. What do you want to achieve?
Yeah, really specifically as you can, because you've got a general, well, I want to do a bit of this and a bit of that. How do you know when you've done it? Well, I did do a bit of that and I did do a bit of that and nothing happened. We didn't do enough. You didn't have, it's like, I want to pass a driving test, want to do an exam. There's a set standard that you've got to meet. If you fail, you've still learnt and you've still progressed, but actually to pass that, and there's a standard. This is similar for this. You can set yourself a standard by looking, even if you don't get all the way there, look how much further you've got, how much you've progressed, how much change you've made. And that is measurable and that's powerful.
And you haven't failed. You've created an opportunity to learn.
Created an opportunity to learn, but you've still achieved 99%.
Yes, exactly. And it's okay that when you're trying to work out what your goal is, if you can't answer that question straight away, if you've got to go and take a week to really think about it, it's better spending that time.
Yeah.
Because we both believe that if you know what that goal is, it's much easier then to plan, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Is it to improve flexibility? I'm getting a little bit older. I'm feeling a little bit stiff. Do you stretch? No. Oh, my balance has got so bad. Do you do any balance exercises? No. Right. Okay. We've got a plan right there.
Yeah.
So just looking at the things that you want to do and being realistic with yourself is the place to start. So it might be, I want to be able to touch my toes standing up.
Yep.
Simple as that. Might be I want to walk to the shops. Right. Then we look down the SMART goals that we talked about before. Well, how you can do that? How quickly can you do it? How long does it take? So you're measuring now.
Yeah.
And finding out where you are at the moment. Because I want to get stronger. Then you ask somebody, how strong are you now? Well, I don't know. Right. And we can test you in the clinic. We can test lots of different areas. But, how are you going to do that at home? What have you got to lift? What weights have you got? How can you do that? And plank became very popular. People were doing a plank because it's a very simple, straightforward, easy measure. I can plank it's not my favourite exercise, but it's a very simple one that you can gauge progression from.
Yes.
Because I used to be at 30 seconds, now I'm at 40. Something's changed. So.
Okay. So we're thinking about, let's turn this into 5 things people can do over this Christmas period, as it were. So tip number 1 is find out what your goal is and that will then start helping you use the SMART principles to start building up a plan. Tip number 2.
Well, for that, if we're going through those, then we've got to measure it. Where are we at the moment?
Yeah.
How long does it take? What can you do? And what's a realistic increase for that?
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in 6-8 weeks' time? It might not be running a marathon, but it might be walking a bit faster. So you might want to walk to the shops 5 minutes faster. You might want to be able, if you can't touch your toes, but you want to be twice as close as you are now. So set something that's achievable.
So you're almost now starting to think about also sort of what are the potential barriers in the way that you need to start overcoming.
Yeah, what's stopping you? If you know that it's good for you, what's stopping you doing it? The biggest one that we always have is time.
Yeah.
And when we were looking at our different circumstances, it's no good, well, I'm going to do this every day. It's the new me, I'm going to do it every day. Is that really going to last?
No, it's not realistic, is it?
No. So I'm going to put a little bit of time aside and I will do this twice a week. And if I miss one, that's life.
Yeah.
Don't get stressed. But I'm going to be consistent in my once or twice a week as much as it is practical. There you go.
Well, the way we always think about it in clinic is the way we'll approach it with patients is saying, right, imagine you've had a week from hell at work and whatnot. How much time have you then got left to do this?
Yeah.
Because I always think it's better to work on that aspect. Then if you got more, you generally feel happy and proud of yourself. Whereas if you overcommit yourself and don't do it, you feel frustrated you're not doing it. And then you just get yourself into a spiral and think, well, this isn't working. I'm not going to do anything. And
there is another way to look at it. We've got the SMART goals, and it's good to set goals. The other way is the instant achievement. All I've got to do is do something twice a week. I've got to run twice a week. How fast? How far? Doesn't matter. I've got to go for a walk twice a week. How far? No, just get out. So straight away, as long as you fit in those 2 walks in, or whatever it might be, you've achieved your goal. The practicalities then go, actually, I could go a little bit faster, or should I go to the corner? You learn and you're on a journey.
Yeah.
So straight away, you start, I'm going to do 5 minutes of step-ups on my front step, or I'm going to do some step-ups on my front. Well, how long have I done? Oh, could I do another minute? You start to add the other bits in afterwards. So starting and not worrying about all the other things can be a really helpful thing. Anybody who's done this knows this. You come home from work, you've had a bad day, you're tired, you're achy. Someone somehow, even if it's the dog, drags you out for a walk or something, you get back and you feel better.
100%.
And lots of people will have felt that. And someone who's never felt that, they get back in, sit on the sofa and, oh, I'm already tired. How can using more energy when I haven't got much already make me feel better?
And it makes you sleep better as well.
Makes you sleep better.
And we all know that the more sleep you get, the better things are anyway.
There you go.
And you're exactly right. I've come home from work some days, stressful day, busy day. Kids a bit of a nuisance to put to bed. It's cold, it's wet outside. I've got hockey training, and it'd be so easy to turn and say, do you know what?
Yep.
I'm just going to skip this one because I'm just feeling a little crap.
Yep.
And actually, you go to hockey, you come back, it's wet, it's cold, but you come back and you're like, I feel good. I'm in a good place. I feel happy.
And people get that just taking a dog for a walk, or just, you don't have to have a dog go out for a walk themselves, or just do something. And you go, actually, it didn't take long and I feel better for doing that.
Actually, over the Christmas period, going out for a walk twice or something, or a few times, it's not because most people will meet up with families. There may be gifts or outdoor toys to go. The kids want to go to the park, and
we see this on Boxing Day. You always see the families walking around up and down hills for Boxing Day. The other thing is, Christmas is a really stressful time. You might have visitors. Everyone's together. If you can take a little bit of time, either to go out for a walk on your own, just to de-stress, just to relax yourself, you come back, better for everybody.
Yeah.
And if you set that up, oh no, between this time and this time, or sometime, you take that really quite difficult in a lot of ways step to look after yourself. Things won't fall apart. Things will still be there. Go and have that bit of time for yourself. Come back. You've re-energized yourself, and mentally, it's much clearer. It's a fantastic thing to do.
So you're basically saying it's okay to have that time to go and reset, and it's actually important to do that. And I know that we'll take a couple of weeks off during Christmas, and my life will get busy, a different type of busy compared to work with family and kids, and it'll be fantastic, it'll be lovely, but I must be ready to come back to work. Yeah. But I would feel mentally, I feel refreshed.
Especially with other people with families and people who have caring responsibilities, they give all the time. And if you're empty, you've got nothing left to give. So it's about filling yourself back up, recharging yourself. And it doesn't take a long, it's just a little bit each day. Yeah. Just take that time.
It's used that analogy of a glass, isn't it? If your glass is completely empty, you've got nothing to give. Yeah. Or if you, on the other side, if your glass is completely full, you've got no capacity then to actually help anyone else, have you? Yeah. So you need to get that balance right. And it's almost like you get to the point for us during Christmas that you get to the end of the year and your glass is now full. You need to take the Christmas break to empty your glass again, ready to start filling it back up for the new year, as it were.
Yeah, and I think we often talk about the health and well-being exercise from a physical strength, flexibility, but that recharge and clarity mentally, it's becoming better known, but often the second part rather than equal.
The amount of time we'll see patients now come into clinic and they'll say, I want to get back to doing this because it helps me manage my mental health.
Yeah.
It helps me manage my stress levels. And we know there's plenty of evidence out there now that if you want to help manage your mental health, exercise is most probably the best prescription. It beats any pill out there by a country mile, doesn't it? And it's a little harder to do sometimes than just taking a pill, isn't it?
Yeah, and it comes back to all those things we spoke about last time. Right? It's easy to do. If it's so easy, why are so many people so scared of doing it, so worried about it, worried about doing the wrong thing? And actually, it doesn't have to be daunting or complicated. And it seems to be that the more complicated and technical it is, the more help it's going to be.
Yeah.
The simple things done well will get you 99% of the way there.
So far, we've basically got take time to realise what is your goal, what do you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Another point is trying to get in a habit of starting to do something on a regular basis over the Christmas period, whether that be walking up and down some steps or that be going for family walks.
Yep.
Another point as you raised that I picked up on is sort of it's okay to take that time to reset, and it's important to take that time for yourself to recharge your own batteries.
Yeah. And not everybody will have all of these, but from the listeners, who's going to have which one? Oh, that one's the one for me. That'll help. Or you think it's that one, but after a while it turns out to be a different one. So the level that someone's doing it at, it's unique to them.
And it is. And there are other things that you can do. Some people like to go and do something where there's a group of people as a bit of a community, because you then feel like I can't not turn up because I'm letting other people down. And a great one to start is park run, isn't it?
Yeah, park run. There's park walk now as well, isn't there?
Yeah, and you can do it on Christmas Day.
Yep.
As well. You can go and burn a few calories ready for your Christmas lunch and whatnot beforehand.
That sets up the other one, Christmas lunch, Christmas time, often a time of overindulgence. If you can keep that to moderate, enjoy yourself, but keep it in moderation and bear in mind that if you do that, maybe there's going to be some payback later on, or if you don't, then with still enjoying yourself, you can just keep things on an even keel.
You can, and I think that leads nicely into the next point of, well, actually, if you do take some time off, which is completely okay, you need that time to reset. You look at professional athletes, they will finish their Ironman event, they'll take 2, 3, 4 weeks off training, doing nothing just to reset. Their coaches will say, do not get that bike out of the bike box, do not touch it. And it's hard. Just spend some time recharging, let your body reset.
Because we see it with athletes. The amateur athlete wants to get fitter, stronger, lose weight and get faster, all in the same program.
Yeah.
Whereas any athlete, triathlete, in season, off season, goes on holiday, pre-season training, then starts to train. Strength base, get some speed, skills, game season, keep ticking over during the game season, and then close season again.
Yeah.
Athletic season, whereas people who are trained, they want everything all at once and they don't periodise their programs.
And it's okay then to realise that if you do take some time, when you come back, it is going to be hard.
Yeah.
You are going to be out of breath, but that is completely normal. And that links into the point that you say about that periodisation.
Yeah.
And it is, but that only comes with, it goes back to planning.
Goes back to planning, knowing what you want and where you are. I've dropped a little bit. Right, how long is it going to take me to get back to where I was? And how do I get on? You're going to ache. You know, there's no easy way to coat this. You have to put some time and some work into these things. But it doesn't have to be a killer. And these old things of go hard or go home. And if you're not training hard, just do something and do it regularly and do it consistently. Then the changes will come. But starting with knowing what you're aiming at,
it's going to be absolutely paramount.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because at the end of the day, regardless if you're an elite athlete or not, we're human beings. We're made of the same stuff.
Yep.
No matter what resources you have access to, you can't change biology, can you? Well,
no,
you can't.
If you're an elite athlete,
to my knowledge, you can't change biology. Yeah.
If you're an elite athlete, you know, I want to throw that javelin further. I want to run 200 metres faster. That set the program for you. For us, I want it all. right, hang on, let's pick one bit, concentrate on that, and then bring this in, and then bring the next bit in. Oh, it gets complicated. No.
So I think we got 5 things there. If we start now bringing this to an end, as it were,
Yeah.
if we just like summarize then. So point 1 is going to be know your goals.
There you go. What are you really after? And don't be general, be as specific as you can be.
And point 2 then is then take some time to plan.
Yeah.
Point 3 is then going to be it's okay to take some time to rest, reset,
Yep.
and be mindful about what's going to happen.
Yep.
Point 4 is try some things during the festive period to try and help you be consistent, whether that's going out for a family walk or not.
What, family walk or walk on your own, just to give you that reset time. Both are good.
And then point 5 is maybe try sort of the community-based idea of doing something like park run, because if you got into that and you then do that every week, you get consistent, you will do more of it, because you feel a guilt if you're letting people down by not going.
If it's not park run, arrange to meet some friends and go for a walk rather than go and sit in the coffee shop. Meet and have a chat as you're walking along. There's lots of ways to do it, and then you split up, go back, how's yours going? Or we go for coffee afterwards.
But that then links back to point 2, all about planning.
Exactly.
So we can sort of see you got 5 points, but they almost sit in a continuum together, don't they?
They do. And there's lots of ways to do it, and hopefully we just give in some ideas. Oh, that one would suit me, that one would suit me. No, I couldn't do that. Because planning, I'm going to do it every day. I've got to take the kids to school then I've got to work, and then this day I have to work late, and then there's a train strike, and then this happens, and then life takes over. Oh, it's too hard. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much for coming on again. Hopefully that means we've just gone through it now in a little more detail.
Yeah, taking out some of the barriers. Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you for listening. Hopefully that was helpful. Please do subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel. As always, if you have any questions, please get in touch, and we shall see you on the next episode. See you later. Bye.